All right, Cousin Sal is here. Joe House joining us for the first half of the podcast. The reason is because I drove back from Arizona today and had to patch together the entire football day, which I did. I feel actually much better about it than I thought I would. Red Zone on my iPhone. My daughter had a game. It was like right second half of the first game. So I wasn't watching unless she wasn't playing or it was halftime, going back on, checking out, and then got to hear everything in the late games, which were fantastic. And then the Sunday night game, which is a disaster. I want to start with Tua versus Kyler Murray because I listened to this on the radio and it was the Arizona announcers. One guy talks like this. I don't know if you've ever heard him.
What was that?
But I don't know whoever the color guy was. But it really sounded like Tua looked like the guy. Sal, what'd you think?
It was back and forth. And like you said, those late afternoon games, all three of them were great. Las Vegas Chargers, Cowboys, Steelers, unfortunately. I really would have rather not paid attention to that. I wanted to focus on Tua and Kyler Murray, but I had to split my time. But every time I looked up and every time I saw those guys had the ball, either of them, great things happen. It's so much better watching guys who could take off, these young quarterbacks, right? I mean, even in we see Brady. I don't want to jump around too much, but Brady, Breeze to a lesser extent, Roethlisberger, just kind of statues out there when you put pressure on them. It's like the drive is over if you put pressure on them. But a guy like Kyler just was great. And, Tua was what? He ran for 35 yards. He had 248 in the air, 2 touchdowns, 20 for 28. You couldn't ask for more out of him, and a big win on the road.
House, we have Miami at 6-1 to win the AFC East, which took a hit with Buffalo beating Seattle, which we'll talk about later. But the thing we were worried about is Tua for real? He did not look good last week, and this week looked like the guy we're talking about. So what'd you think?
Yeah, this is the version of Tua. It's like the best case scenario, and it's the version of Tua that I think we saw like in the very first moments that he walked on the field at Alabama. He has this poise, this instinct, this he's not cowed by the moment, and it was a little bit concerning last week. Now, last week was such a weird game against the Rams that the other phases of what Miami brought to the table really made it so that Tua didn't have to do too much, and they didn't really ask him to do very much. They asked him to do a lot this game. I mean, it really did come down to his decision-making, which was outstanding, his accuracy, which was excellent, his legs, which were great, and it was a super exciting matchup. Him and Kyler, I mean, give us 10 more years of that.
Can I just say, he's got all those things. He's got poise. He's got great, he's got insight. He's got good field awareness, all those things. You know what else he has? He has motivation, because there are some people who still think Ryan Fitzpatrick should be the quarterback of that team. That's one. Number two, his brother is outstanding at Maryland. I know you guys probably haven't seen him play yet. They killed Penn State. They're like a 30-point underdog, and they beat him. So he's got a lot of these factors going for him, and he's rising to the occasion.
Well, and then he had a whole week of Burrow and Herbert. What about Tua? Are they showcasing him?
Right.
All this stuff. Sal, I'm not a huge college football guy, although I have a habit of always stumbling into the most important game. Like last night, Clemson, Notre Dame, I somehow saw the fourth quarter and the overtimes. But Tua, until he got hurt, people thought he was like the all-time sure thing, right? Were you in that camp?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was a clear number one over Lawrence. No question before he got hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, so this Miami thing, and they're still a game back from Buffalo, but they have they play them week 17. And I think what surprised me about the game today was their defense didn't actually do that well, because Kyler Murray was kind of carving them up, but they got the big stop when they needed it. To me, Kyler got lost in this game. He's been getting better. I have him in fantasy. Like he had like over 40 points in both the leagues that I have him. But
I mean, his over rushing yards are like 54. You want to talk about gambling and fantasy? He's like expected to have like 44, 54 yards rushing a game. He had 106. He goes over every week. He was 21 to 26 passing. It's just kind of perfect. He just can't kick is the problem.
The Arizona announcers got real excited in the fourth quarter because there was this window that was opening where it was like, wow, we could have the best record in the NFC.
Yeah.
And I'm going 109 miles an hour on the 10. I'm like, what? How? I'm like, should I look at this on my phone and try to figure out if this is true? But, Seattle lost. And right now.
You mean the NFC West, the best record in the NFC West?
No, well, they could have been tied with Green Bay. They could have been 6-2.
And the Saints?
And the Saints 6-2 and Green Bay 6-2. So they would have been tied in a first place tie for
across the board.
Number one seed tie. So they were getting all excited about that, and then it fall apart. But House, it's not inconceivable, right? That we could have that could have been a Super Bowl preview.
Which?
I mean, it's Miami, Arizona. It's not the most ridiculous thought ever. No, I'm just saying it's not ridiculous.
Let's look up the odds and put $5 on it, just because we said it on the pod, and it's a fun and funny thing.
All right, let me ask you this: How many more teams in the AFC right now do you like more than Miami? I'll give you Pittsburgh, I'll give you Baltimore, I'll give you Kansas City.
What are we talking about? Are we talking one game where Miami has to go play at all those teams? Like,
I'm just saying, AFC right now, who do you like more? I gave you three teams. Do you like Buffalo more right now than Miami?
Nah, I think that's a toss-up, and depends who shows up that game. These teams are all kind of interchangeable, but I think those three that you mentioned, KC, Pittsburgh,
they're all better.
Baltimore,
Cleveland, I like them more. Do you like them more than Tennessee right now, from what we've seen halfway through the year?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Tennessee's full crap.
Yeah, I'm with Cuz. I put Tennessee and Buffalo in the same category, and I think they're both a notch down from the top three. Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and Baltimore.
Indianapolis who hurt your feelings today.
Hey, if Phillip Rivers continues to be the quarterback of Indianapolis, they're going to be lucky to win 9 games. He's awful.
I couldn't believe you liked them today.
He's effing awful. House
had a classic feast or famine. He loved the Saints, but he also loved the Colts. So he split that one.
I didn't even talk to you guys about it, and I had all my bets on the Colts this week. This was one of the things where everybody liked the Ravens, but the line was moving down, like it couldn't get to 3. And then the Colts ended up being favored. I'm like, there's no way all my idiot friends are going to be right about this and the Ravens are going to win. I'm taking the Colts. And not only that, I'm taking them plus 11.5 on a teaser. Are you kidding me?
I teased him up to 8.5, and I thought we might get a backdoor touchdown, but
Jesus,
the only backdoor that Phillip Rivers falls into is his wife.
Is that
Come on. That's terrible.
They have like a dozen kids.
They do have a lot of children.
Kids. What do you want me to do?
Well, we should mention Indianapolis scored on their first drive. They're up 7-0, and it was like 103 on the East Coast. They were up 7-0, and they scored 3 points.
I feel if Jonathan Taylor, as bad as Phil Rivers is, and as much as you can never get him to convert on a 4th and 5 or a 4th and 3, Jonathan Taylor's fumble killed him. I mean, the Ravens had no momentum at all, and then he fumbles, and they take it back to the house. He's not even playing that well, Taylor. I don't know what that.
That's
team
the problem with Indianapolis, though. They can't afford any mistakes. If they make one mistake, they lose.
Well, the funny thing with Taylor, everything he's shown as a rookie, and I do not watch college football, but it was as advertised. Incredible athlete, so fast, can be a 3-down back, game breaker, but he puts the ball on the ground.
That doesn't usually fix itself in the pros, where they hit harder and they're faster and they're stronger.
I have one more Miami question. Do you like them more than Las Vegas?
Like as a city? No.
I don't know.
I kind of think they're as bad. I know Arizona scored 31, but I count on Dolphins defense, and we saw it early against I think overall I like them better than Las Vegas.
House?
I do too. I like Miami better than Las Vegas.
So we all believe right now Miami is the 4th best team in the AFC.
They're in that category. I think we were doing tiers. I think they belong in the same conversation as Tennessee and Buffalo. And honestly, Las Vegas does belong in that same tier. Those are the 7 playoff teams in the AFC.
But if you lost to Buffalo again, which they could, then they'd be 2 back of them. And then you'd be like, no, Buffalo's better, right? I mean, it goes week to week with these things.
Right now, they're a game and a half behind Buffalo. I screwed that up. All right, NFC. Who do you like more than Arizona, other than the Saints, who we'll talk about?
Oh, I see how
in
you
a
did
second.
This.
Do you like anybody in the NFC East more than Arizona? I do not.
No,
come on.
Do you like the Packers? More than Arizona?
I do. I think I'm one of the few that love the Packers every week, even though they lose every other game that so far. You don't.
I got to be honest, from an upside standpoint, I think I like Arizona more.
Okay.
Because of the Kyler, because I really do feel like he's getting better each week, and there's a ceiling with him that I think Green Bay, we kind of know what they are. I don't really know. They're kind of they're the good bad team that can occasionally hang with the good team. What do you think, House?
The answer to that question depends on who Arizona has in their backfield, because the single biggest vulnerability of Green Bay is their rush defense. And if Drake isn't playing, then I like Green Bay better. If Drake's playing, then I think it's more of an even kind of
and also
status.
We've seen very few games where Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Devontae Adams have played together. Very few, maybe.
All right, so
we'll
we'll say that's a toss up, and then NFC West, from what I've seen, especially after whatever the hell happened to Seattle today, and you feel like Seattle's 6-2, and they pulled 2 games out of the deep recesses of their rectum, and they have real defensive problems. I think Arizona's the best team in that division right now. If we're gonna say who looks the best going forward, which roster would you want? You'd be like, I don't want to go against Russell Wilson, all that stuff. But Seattle's defense, I don't know what's going on with that. I think Arizona's got a slightly higher upside. House, they have one factor, though, that you've pointed out on text. Cliff Kingsbury, you're not sure that he's playing with a full deck.
I've used some unkind language as it relates to Coach Cliff. But I will say this. We already had a referendum on this. Arizona and Seattle played, and Arizona beat Seattle. And I also want to just make a quick observation. It's a data point. You had Russell on this podcast.
Yeah.
And his record since the time that he appeared on here is not great.
It's 1-2.
It is 1-2. It's the true fact. I hope it's not the negative bump, the BS podcast negative bump.
You're the new
I'll give you four turnovers today. 3 turnovers against Arizona. That's 7 turnovers since he came on your podcast, Bill.
Pete Carroll said that he couldn't recognize this defense and the post-game press. I was like, really? What? No, it's the same one from 2 weeks ago. You played tough against Arizona or San Francisco last week, but no. It's the same kind of defense. But I do want to talk, like, Dunlop is back. Dunlop's on the team now. Adams is back. Those guys played well, and they played well in the last couple of weeks. If they played, you look at their numbers, not that bad. I think they had 7 sacks, and they still gave up 1 million points. I can't put my finger on it. And no rushing yards. The total rushing yards in Buffalo, Seattle was 91. There are incredible stats we never saw growing up where teams are rushing for 30 yards and winning games. It's unbelievable. Everyone's
that was the game plan. Buffalo completely rewrote I think they threw on 22 of the first 24 offensive plays they had, or something like that. It was an insane number of pass to run ratio.
805 passing yards between the two teams. It's really
on the podcast.
Different.
House did a podcast with Warren Sharp on Friday, and Sharp laid out this whole case for don't give up on Buffalo yet, basically saying there's signs that their offense might be better than we think it is, because they had that weird Tennessee game. They had 2 bad weather games, and he was just like, I'm not ready to think that this offense isn't good. And then they were awesome in this game, and Sal has $1 Josh Allen in our fantasy league. But I don't know what to make of Buffalo anymore. I think I've been wrong on them probably 80% of the time so far this year. I'm going to stay away from them, from gambling.
You, for some reason, don't want them to be the team that usurps the Patriots.
I want it to be Miami, because then
Miami.
We could say Brian Flores, took over from Belichick. He's carrying the legacy in the division.
Right.
Wait, I have one more either-or question. Would you rather be Tampa going forward right now or Arizona?
Oh, man. Again, I don't know what kind of defense we're getting with Tampa. I thought they righted the ship there. I thought they righted it with penalties. But tonight, what we saw, I don't even know what the hell we saw. Everyone was bad on that team. But, I know you want to point it this way and like who's better, and if we want to rank them, that's one thing. But with that NFC West, I could see any of them winning the Super Bowl. I could see any of them getting knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. That's just how it is. I don't think I'm going to change that. I want to propose to you top 5 favorite offenses to watch right now.
Well, I know you love the Chargers.
I think I put the Chargers in my 3.
Wow. Casey's in there, right?
Chiefs are 1.
Yeah.
I think Cardinals 2. I put Chargers 3. I know everyone's like, oh, you're crazy. The Seahawks. I like the Chargers. I'm kind of bored with the Seahawks. I know that's stupid to say. And then you got the Bengals and Bucks when the Bucks are rolling, but those are my three there. What do you say?
I like the Bengals call.
Mm-hmm.
And Pittsburgh will be fun at some point, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Don't you think? It doesn't feel like they've figured out the run-pass balance correctly yet, but I do feel like that offense is going to have a moment. And I got to say, I can't wait to watch Tua now, the way he played. I'm in on all the rookie quarterbacks. I love those guys.
What a class. What
do you think, House?
I just know who I have 32nd on that list, and it's the mother effing Baltimore Ravens. I just can't. Oh, my God. Obviously, I'm the dummy that paid $50 for Lamar Jackson this season. and I think they had 60 yards on offense in the first half against the Colts today.
They had 266 total. Like, teams are winning games with incredible stats you wouldn't believe. 266 offensive yards.
We're at the point of the season now where you have to be alarmed if you're a Ravens fan. That by November you would have thought there would be signs of whatever. We're going to take a break, and then I want to talk about Tampa, New Orleans. I had the drive time perfectly. Could get to hear the whole Sunday Night Football. I thought it was going to be the first half of Sunday Night Football. Watch the second half, do the podcast. For a variety of reasons, I barely got here in time. We'll talk about that later. This is the most shocking result of the year to me. Not only because I had the Tampa money line and a couple bets and had them in $1 million picks, but I really thought they were better than New Orleans. And I thought this was going to be the game when they grabbed the division by the balls. I was actually, if you had told me the score was going to be 38-3, and you said which side, well, I would have been 100% sure it was the Tampa side.
You would have bet 22 of your 25 houses on Tampa if you heard the final score.
Easily. Right? And maybe your guest house.
Yeah, right.
So what was Collins? I didn't get to watch the telecast. What was Collinsworth doing during this game? Al, what was he? What kind of frame of mind was he in?
They went back and forth between, they listed all of Brady's comebacks and everything. And Al was like, don't touch that dial. It's like, all right, it's 28-3. He has 2 first downs, and it looks more like they're going to take him out. To 2 drives later, Collinsworth's like, I don't know why they're playing these guys still. It's like 8 minutes left in the fourth. But this was another one where the line went for everybody loved Tampa. It was a foregone conclusion that they were going to beat the Giants. Last time we talked on Sunday, they were going to beat the Giants, and then they were going to get their revenge on New Orleans. And this was another one where everybody loved Tampa, and yet the line went from 4.5, I think, when we did the pod last Sunday night, to 3.5. It's like, why is this line going down? It's like, oh yeah, the Saints want this more, or just as much at least. It was another strange one. The Bucs had 5 carries total, broken NFL record with 5 carries.
I don't know. I didn't understand that at all. I actually thought, although I guess the Saints have a good run defense, and they're trying to zag right away. But this is bad for Brady. This is now 2 stink bombs against the Saints, right? And then on top of it, you bring Antonio Brown as house. Is Antonio Brown the mole? What happened here?
I have no idea. This Buccaneers team is entirely confounding to me.
Because they sucked last week too.
Well, you beat me to it. This is the thing. What they showed against the Giants apparently was not just a flat spot, an aberration where they were looking forward to the Saints. They were game planning for the Saints. They were holding a little something back. They didn't unfurl the full dong against the Giants. That's not what happened. No. Instead, the identity of the Buccaneers that we saw against the Giants was indeed the same identity we saw tonight against the Saints, and the Saints are a little bit better than the Giants.
And the Giants could have won. Like you said, Danny Dimes missed terribly on 3 throws that any one of those would have put them ahead for good.
You look at the Saints, they lose to the Raiders and Packers. They haven't lost since. And from what we've seen of the Raiders now, that's not as bad of a loss as it seemed like in week 2, right?
The Raiders beat the Chiefs and the Saints, right? I mean, those are as good a wins as you can get.
They're 3-1 on the road.
And then the Packers, good. No shame in that one. But you look at Tampa, that Chargers game, which we all watched, they easily could have blown that game.
Giants.
They lose to the Bears, and we're like, it was a Thursday night. Then they kill the Packers, they kill the Raiders. And we're like, here we go. And I thought, I mean, their Super Bowl odds went to what, 6-1?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was about
and then
650.
I remember Haralba bet on Biden at plus 290. Oh no, wait, I'm screwing up the election.
What?
But yeah, this is the Bucks have at Panthers next week, who look pretty frisky in that Chiefs game. Home for the Rams, home for the Chiefs, home for the rejuvenated Vikings. I think they're officially rejuvenated. So their next four are not easy. And I don't know. They were talking on the radio about Mike Evans was throwing a tantrum on the sidelines at one point, and you got Antonio Brown there. He's a lunatic. There's some possibilities here.
I can't blame Antonio Brown fully, but his presence is what killed them today. Because, like I said, every facet of that team was bad today. But he did a great thing when they're down 28-3. He catches a ball for a first down and does the thing, just does a thing where he drops it in front of them. And it's funny. I had Michael Irvin on my podcast, Extra Points, this week, and he claims he made that up. He invented the celebration after the first down at Miami. He made a great catch at the 7-yard line. In college, and he's like, I'm not waiting to score. I'm celebrating here. And I was like, you son of a bitch. You're the reason Zeke Elliott stirs the soup after a 3-yard gain. This is what happens. And Antonio Brown did it tonight. It's so good. So good.
I gotta say, I think I might agree with him on that.
What about what? That he's the first?
Creating the yeah. I think that might have actually been true.
I tried to think back. I couldn't remember seeing it before.
Who would have done it before? I mean, he invented 9 different things we'd never seen when he played football.
Right.
Wide receivers were pretty nondescript up to that point. We had the Billy White Shoes Johnson, and that was about it. It's not like they were demonstrative in the 80s, right, House?
No, I mean I had Art Monk here, the quietest guy in the NFL.
Yeah, right.
Right. I had Stanley the Steamer Morgan. I don't want to overreact, but I'm going to overreact. It's hard for me to believe the Bucks win the Super Bowl. And remember when they hit rock bottom at 38-3? I don't remember a champ getting their asses kicked like that. Certainly in the 6 Patriots Super Bowls, they lost. I remember in the 2003 Super Bowl, they lost to Buffalo 31-0, but it was like the first or second game of the year. This late in the year when you're healthy, that's not a good sign. I guess
probably not, but it's a weird season. It really is. And I do think we're at the point of the year where teams are looking past other teams, or teams are mailing in. You and I, the three of us, we always talk about how teams just don't show up for 2 games a year unexplained. That's it. So maybe this is drop the lowest quiz grade and go forward. Or maybe it's not. I do want to defend my NFC a little. The Chiefs could have 3 losses too. They could have lost today to Carolina if that 65-yarder goes a little straighter or whatever. We know the Chiefs could have lost to the Chargers. There's another one in there. Well, they have a loss. So, I think we know who the top 5-ish, 6 teams. We'd be surprised. Although you're putting Arizona in the Super Bowl, but other than that,
I'm just saying I believe anyone
the
from the NFC. You could give me 7 teams right now, and I would just be like, sure.
Right.
But I think this is the latest.
If they lost in the first round, you'd be like, oh, that sucks, but that makes sense too, right?
Yeah, but isn't that what the great thing about the NFC this year is? Any team you could say, I see them in the Super Bowl, I see them losing in round 1 by 20.
Especially with only one bye, yeah.
House, longtime NFC guy. Do you remember a year when the NFC heading into week 10 did not have a team that we all thought was the established favorite? Because this is pretty weird.
Let's think about this.
Before you answer, we have the Packers at 6-2. We have the Saints at 6-2. The Bucks at 6-3. The Seahawks at 6-2. Cardinals, Rams at 5-3.
So nobody has 7 wins. So nobody. Are you saying this could be the first time? You're right. There's no 7-win team going into week 10.
Like 12-4 could take the 1 seed.
Sure.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a good number for the 1 seed, honestly. If you gave me that right now, I'd say, sure, I'd grab it.
4-12 could take the 1 seed in the NFC East.
The Washingtons are still alive.
House, who would you take in the NFC right now? No odds. I'm just saying, if gun to your head.
The Saints.
See, I wouldn't take the Saints.
The Saints. That's who I would take.
I wouldn't do it. I guess they would have to get the 1 seed and play inside, right? All the way to the Super Bowl. That'd be the recipe for them.
I'd take the Packers. You would take Arizona? I mean,
no. I wouldn't. I fuck.
We don't have to do this is the other thing.
I think you're right. I can't believe it, but is it the Saints? I think they're the safest bet if my life was depending on it.
If everybody's healthy and that defense can remain healthy, they have the most. They on both sides of the ball. And that relationship with Peyton and Breeze, that they've been through some stuff together. That's all. We're only in the middle of the season.
And but we could like the Saints and the Steelers, but there's a decent chance neither of those quarterbacks make it to the finish line.
Well, totally agree.
If you just
that's why I want to take the Saints.
Yeah, if you just watch how they play and everything.
Yep.
I would take Arizona if the guy who house called all kinds of terrible names today was in the head coach, because I think their destiny this year is every year there's a team that is super fun and actually seems like they could make the Super Bowl, and then they lose a terrible game in the playoffs, like 30-28, 35-34, 27-25, one of those, and you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe that feels like their destiny. I can't believe they blew it. Which, by the way, the Chargers are the AFC version of that, but they're not going to make the playoffs because they're an 8-0 team that is somehow 2-6. They did it again. This was especially cruel because I was listening on the radio. Our friend Matt Money Smith was announcing, and what was his name? Barham caught the touchdown.
Yeah,
the tight end
Parham, the pit.
Parham.
The pit. Yeah.
And he's like, Parham, all he does is catch touchdowns. 3 grabs, 3 touchdowns. The Chargers win. And the other guy's like, hold on, they're gonna review it. And they thought they were reviewing the inbounds. And then 2 minutes later, they realized the ball was kind of moving. And honestly, it sounded like he was just going to go walk into traffic. They're so bummed out. They just gone this whole thing about finally they're off the schneid. Finally they get through a fourth quarter. So another. I mean, House, it's like an hour-long YouTube video at this point of terrible collapses.
I will say this, though. I love watching Herbert. I just love it. I think he's great. I mean, he's a big boy. The one thing I'd like to see a tiny bit more is him run. It doesn't feel like he has a big run instinct, but he's so young and he moves fine.
Oh, he can run. Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like he needs to be a little more assertive that way. Maybe it's because we're watching at the same time as Kyler.
That's true. You know what I love about him, House? See, hang with me with this comparison. He's Bryson DeChambeau. First of all, he throws downfield with such great touch. His long ball is terrific. It's his short pass. It's his 3rd and 7. That
it's the red zone stuff.
Yeah,
the wedges.
Thread the needle, and he can't get it. Yeah, the wedges, right? The short stuff he can't do. But I love as a rookie to throw downfield that much. How many times did you have to deal with your first-year quarterback just do outlet passes to the fullback like the whole first season? It's like you're not getting that out of the Chargers. You're also not getting wins, which I think Anthony Lynn he's going to have to speak up for. He's and they're not blowing 16-point leads anymore. They're just not catching the ball. The ball's barely hitting the ground, and it's bad. Why are we not betting against them in the fourth quarter in the live line? What are we doing?
Well, they didn't have Joey Bosa, which the announcers were talking about when I was listening about. They don't have like that. Their defense was always dying in the fourth quarter everywhere. And then on top of it, they don't have him. There's still a path for them to be a playoff team.
Oh, no.
I can't cross them off yet. 2-6. They just need to get to 9-7. They're in every game. And Herbert's super fun. House, do you think we sold Sal's Bryson DeChambeau Herbert analogy better than Clay Travis tomorrow? I think we did. That was a good one. You're going to be using that on Fox. No, you'll be using that one again on Fox Bet Live tomorrow. I can feel it.
Oh,
it's a good one. Yeah, you'll run that one back.
It's Masters Week. You got to get it going.
I'm trying to
get I have a green jacket on as we speak.
I love it. No, I know. I just I love all these rookies. And that's why I was excited when Tua was in, and let's see them all. I'm excited about the crop next year too. I don't know what to think about what it means for a Dak Prescott and my team, which I'm glad we haven't talked about.
It's going to single-handedly reignite the football card industry.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like the Panini. Ben and I have bought like 3 boxes already, trying to get Tua and Burrow and all these dudes. But there's more fun rookies it's one of those rare classes where all the good players are actual dudes. Like even Chase Young, like the best defensive guy is actually like this fucking badass.
I wish the running backs were better. They haven't really. Edwards-Helaire was supposed to be great. It looked like it was going to be that way. And, just Swift on Detroit.
Zach Moss might end up being the best running back.
Yeah, he's okay. They take a couple weeks off, all these guys.
I know.
Sal, I have a special segment for you.
What is it?
It's the State Farm surprisingly great segment of the week, because getting great car and home insurance from State Farm at a surprisingly great rate. That's kind of like Joe House loving the Saints at +4. And then what did the line end up at?
It went
down to 3, didn't it?
No, it was down. No, it was
got
3.
Him early. It's like how House hit with the Saints. State Farm agents provide personal service. You can customize your insurance to fit your needs. Like a GM putting together their very own roster. You need a team that supports you. And State Farm's got a great one. House, sing the song for us.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In addition to a great song and great agents, the award-winning mobile app helps manage coverage, pay bills, file claims, and more with a great price, even greater service. State Farm goes from strength to strength. Choose insurance that always brings its A game. When you want the real deal like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, which brings us to our surprisingly great player from this week. Sal, take the floor. This random Dallas quarterback. Let's hear it. Let's hear this scouting report. Go do your thing. This is actually exciting.
I joked that Garrett Gilbert, finally we have a Garrett we could trust in Dallas. He showed up. He was gutty. He didn't turn the ball over. I knew he had one bad one in him. I knew he was going to turn the ball over at some point, and the one he did, Amari Cooper was held in the end zone, but whatever, they didn't call it, and it was picked off, and then the Steelers come down and seal their fate. But I felt good. And then I felt good that they brought me back in. I was mad. I was like, let me just be done with this season. Let this quarterback suck. I know usually the fourth quarterback is the one that turns the team around. But in this instant, I was like, just let him suck so I don't have to watch the whole game. I could concentrate on Kyler, but no.
Instead
Gilbert,
you're thinking Romo.
He was good.
Is this Romo 2.0? What's going on here?
For Sal's sake, I hope so. I need some help with who's going to be quarterback in Washington, though. I mean, we might have to bring back Haskins. We're like, you can't start Alex Smith. It's like against it's a bad karma move.
That's true.
Starter.
Alex Smith did not make the cut for surprisingly great this week.
He had 325 yards and almost led them to a comeback in the fourth quarter. Well,
and more importantly, every time he goes back to pass, you're terrified.
Yes.
Well, that's what sucks. Like the documentary made people, I don't want to say not root for him, but they made him turn away. They can't watch that game. Not that the Washington and Giants is watchable anyway. But Garrett Gilbert, we're set. We're winning this division.
Garrett Gilbert does not sound like a quarterback name.
No.
I don't know what it sounds like, but like the representative in Georgia who's in the runoff right now, it's Garrett Gilbert against somebody else. Doesn't sound like the guy who's saving your team.
Might be a State Farm insurance agent. I don't know.
Garrett Gilbert. Or a great fried chicken chef. If Garrett Gilbert cooked me a giant batch of fried chicken, I'm in.
Sal, how much did you know about Garrett Gilbert before 48 hours ago?
A little bit, not too much. Not too much. I don't want to get close to these people because they end up disappointing me. So I was pleasantly surprised, and then the refs took it away from us.
I have one more Cowboys question. Mm-hmm. At what point did you look at the standings and realize that you would be like a game out in first place? You did, didn't you? Like third quarter?
I did.
Dalton coming back next week. You're starting to get ideas.
No, Dalton, Garrett Gilbert. Let Dalton sit.
Garrett Gilbert.
I really like that. I just, and then, and when Ben went off, I thought we were going to see Mason Rudolph. I was like, all right, this is a fair fight now. Everybody put their guns away. Steelers, another team. 46 yards rushing. When we grew up, nobody won a game with 46 yards rushing. The Steelers did today. Pollard is better than Elliott. He gets just as many yards on half the carries. I don't know what this team's identity is, but I know Jalen Smith is really, really bad defensively, and I'll be happy to be done with this season when they're done with us.
Yeah, the announcers on Sirius got upset when he had another dumb penalty.
Yeah.
Smith. They're like, Jalen Smith again.
Well, we got the one where they graze. They're falling back and they graze the quarterback's face mask, which I think the face mask is there to protect the quarterback, right? But they graze the face mask, and that's a 15-yard penalty. That killed the Cowboys. There are a couple plays in there, but
all right, that was our surprisingly great player of the week. House, the Pittsburgh, they're halfway through tying the 2007 Pats, going 16-0. They're 8 games away. They're 8-0 right now. Any chance they go 16-0? Sal, what would you give? Make a bet right now. Can you guys make a bet? What would you give House right now that the Steelers go 16-0?
3. I'll give you the same odds I gave David Chang that he gets to the playoffs in our fantasy league. I'll give you 3-1 odds.
Those are terrible odds.
Well, you look at the schedule. They have a couple guys. They are bad. Actually, I should give you like 4.5 because the Thanksgiving game against the Ravens,
right,
which they'll be favored.
Comes down to that game.
But they'll be favored in that game, right? By 4 points, I think. At least they're home. Not too much more.
Well, it's like what you said about the 46 yards running.
Yeah.
James Conner's he's like a C-. I don't know. I do feel like that's going to come back to haunt them in January, but it might not haunt them the rest of the season. What do you think, House?
I think that they're so diverse on offense, and we're still, I think, waiting for that one Big Ben game where he goes out and throws for 520 yards, spreads it around to all 3 receivers. And Benny Snell, as a poor man's Connor, is he's not horrendous. I mean, I just think they can score so many different ways and score quickly that I'm not concerned about them on offense. The thing that they're still sorting through is Devin Bush. They're still getting that sort of worked out, but they're so good. They're loaded. There's just no chance they're going 8-0 through the rest of the season.
Real quick, we'll go over the lines, but Steelers Bengals, that's going to be a hefty number. At Jaguars, that could be close to double digits. Home for the Ravens, that's a tough one. 4. Home for your Washington team, that's a double-digit game. At the Bills, that's tough. Slight favorite. At the Bengals, slight favorite. Yeah, I guess they're right. They're home for the Colts and then at the Browns. Yeah, there's losable games in there for sure. I was wrong. 5-1.
Well, 5-1 now?
Yeah, I'll give you 5-1.
No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Wow. Well, they're 2 games up on the Ravens. They are 2 games up on Titans and Bills, and only 1 game up on the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, how much did you see of that Chiefs game today? When they don't have Chris Jones, I feel like anybody can beat them.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. I just think that was the one where Mahomes just put him on his back. He's they had 30 yards rushing. He's like, however many points it takes for me to win, I'm going to do this. And, it took a beating today. Dan Marino. Mahomes was the fastest to 100 touchdowns, beat Marino. And Lamar, 25-5, had the best record in the first 30 games, which was previously Marino. So rest in peace, Dan Marino. Sorry about that.
Poor Danny Marino.
I wouldn't know.